Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is March 10th, and if you've been following along with me, on Friday last week, I lost my 15 funded accounts, and I did mention, well, I'm going to record myself trying to get funded in one day. So a disclaimer, whenever I'm trying to get funded in one day, I am accepting the max risk of the purchase of the evaluations. Like if I blow them, I blow them. I will admit I am very over leveraged to get funded quickly. However, it doesn't mean the trade setup isn't there. It's just you're trying to take advantage of the quick moves to get them funded. So the trading setup is still there. You're just, to be honest, over position sized. And once they're funded, I definitely won't be position sizing this large. So that's a little disclaimer for the way I do it. And if that's not your jam, these type of setups actually still work for you. You just do it longer. So nothing's wrong with that either. But let's go ahead and break it down. So I already traded. I recorded it. I thought I'd be doing this like a commentator type of way, and I will be sharing it, or not really sharing it, but pausing and commenting as it goes forward. Before I actually dive in, I want to show y'all the. Actually, I don't gotta bring that up. I can bring. Did I close it already? I did not. Okay. Trying to bring over. All right, the trade ninja, but let me bring it over. Okay, I'll bring over the screenshot. Okay, so here's the screenshot of my trading day. So Tradeify, you see I got above the 9,000. These are the 150K advanced accounts that I have right here. And then I have 100,000 Apex accounts. I needed to get these above $106,000 to be profitable. And you can see I beat that threshold there. So now I have a total of 25 funded accounts, and we'll see what I could do with these. Hopefully the train just keeps on trucking, right? If you want my free course on how exactly I get funded in 1 to 3 days, then click the link in the description. Inside, I'll walk you through everything that's actually worked for me, plus any of the unspoken concepts and some of the biggest myths around day trading futures that no one is talking about. All right, so here I am. This is the chart that I'm looking at. Some things you may notice differently on here is I do have the Keltner channel up here. So that's the third Keltner channel above the 21 EMA, and then here's a third Keltner channel below the 21 EMA. All right, so when the candles are red, that just means it's a trend. That's something I'm working on. To be honest, don't pay too much attention to the color of the candles at the moment. I'm still working on that. But what I do have is the New York Session Anchor VWAP. We did obviously had the flush at the open, and now we're starting to come down and take out the New York Session Anchor VWAP. So I'm going to go ahead and push play on this, and you can see where I come in. I'm still also relatively new trading on TradingView, so just be aware of that. That's why I kind of like I fumbled. I clicked it twice there, made me actually get a horrible fill. I was pushing it whenever it was much higher. However, got a horrible fill there. All right. And so you can see it just bouncing around. I'm in, just letting it play out. I'm looking around, seeing about putting my stop at the top. What the highs there? But to be honest, I was very skittish on this because I was worried about this being a lower high and then potentially bouncing as it comes down. This is my trading view. I'm actually looking to see where we were in terms of ATRs right there. But you see I'm just short one in Q, and I am concerned as a bounce, so I go ahead and close it. And at that time, a good thing I did close it because I actually didn't do it correctly. My trade copier was not synced. That actually only did one account, and that was a break-even trade. It was down 20 bucks for the commissions or whatever. But nonetheless, you see it drop on down there. Then just going to wait for it. I actually might... I was curious if I was able to speed this up, but I guess not. But just let it play out. But you see, I was obviously wrong on, especially if you're looking at it now, but I was thinking that it was price was going to bounce there. All right, so now that price is obviously below the VWAPs, price is certainly extended down to the downside. I'm thinking bounce, so I am being a little bit overly cautious. So when volatility steps in, especially to the downside, there is a setup you could take advantage of. And it is when price gets super extended down to like the third ATRs and starts to pause, you can start legging into position, and you'll see me doing it here in a moment. And then you try to catch the quick pop up for a quick scalp, and you get out of the way. But we'll see if when I do it here. I guess I could do this instead of just this waiting. Right here I'm looking where we're exactly bouncing. All right, we're starting to reclaim the New York session anchor VWAP. I'm watching. Right here, I'm noting we're at the 1 minute 21 EMA. And what I'm noting here is, oops, let me go back for you. So what has my eye right here is what I'm paying attention to is price is extended from every time frame to the downside for the most part, right? Everyone's looking for bounce. So right here, this is what's having me concerned of thinking, hey, what if we come down to here and we bounce up again? So you see where we got close to kissing it once. So I'm thinking, are we going to happen again? And if we do, in this particular moment, if price gets extended down to the third ATR as we're coming down into support, which is down here, then I'm going to look to potentially take a long. That's my thought. So, but first we need to get down to the third ATR. As price continues forth, going, I'm watching the line. See how we're now at the gray box. We're extended into support outside the third ATR, even on the 15-minute chart, and we're starting to hit it on the hourly. So price is extended to the downside. So I'll come over here. I throw on a low of day anchored VWAP. See, I'm still evaluating. We're coming lower. All right, so now we're starting to come down to my cloud, right? Now we're coming down. So I'm going to start looking, hey, do I want to get long? Right here, I'm just saying, okay, are we below this gray box? Yes, we are. I don't have a whole lot of time to move over to my trading view charts, so that's why I'm having to bounce between Thinkorswim and trading view. And so it is down. I'm watching. Starting to bounce up a little bit. And what I'm thinking is, okay, if we start to form a hammer candle, if we break that high, I'm going to go ahead and start getting long. So I'm watching it, just evaluating how many points we are. So I'm getting ready. And like I said, I like to over leverage in these volatility moments. And I am looking, I'm accepting that I may lose the accounts and have to buy a reset. That's the risk I am willing to take. You have to ask yourself, are you willing to do that if that is something you're wanting to do? So we started to break that high of that candle. So I get long, 2 contracts. Ideally, your stop is at the low, the wick low, which would be down here. So watching it. And then see if I remember what happens here. I believe we start to get a pretty good push up. And at this point, I think I lock in about $3,700 per account, if I recall correctly. So I'm long, stop at the lows. Another thing I do, because sometimes, and especially when it's volatile, it'll pop up and it'll come back down, but it won't pierce the bottom wick. So what I start to do is I start to put limit orders all the way through that candle. If we do fall, it'll grab a little bit more while it starts to increase your cost average barely while you're just getting in position because the setup's still valid. And then I look for the pop up to start scaling out of position. And this is just what I do whenever I am looking to fund accounts quickly. It doesn't always work, but most of the time it works. All right, so right now I'm up about $700 or so. I got 4 contracts. Price is just bouncing around. And so, like I said, price came down to support, down at the negative 30 ATR. We broke that candle high, stop at the low. And I'm just looking for price to go up to about, like it says, 824 right there. So I'm looking for a pop. I'm just waiting. I do believe I adjusted a little bit because it kind of stalls there. Let's see. I'm looking, all right, how far did we pierce below and bounce up? All right. Now moving up my stops to close to where my entry was. And you got to remember that these are intraday drawdown accounts. So I can't let it pull back too far because it's intraday drawdown. If it pulls back 3,000, even though I'm still green, I can still lose the accounts because it's an intraday drawdown. So that's something I'm watching for. You have to be aggressive with it. And once it starts to sell here, I have to think, okay, I have to lock it up. So if I don't lock it up, then I may have to intraday drawdown against me. However, Apex only has intraday drawdown. Tradeify does have intraday drawdown options if that is something you're more interested in. All right, so right there, 2 got filled. And I'm right here at the 21 EMA, and I go ahead and close it because it's right there at a resistance level. All right, so right there was about $3,700. All right, so now we're rallying up. I put a low of day anchored VWAP on. So I'm thinking, okay, if the trend's going to continue and we start to break this anchored VWAP, I'm going to try shorting it again with a stop above the high of this last swing high, which would be right at 820. So we start to take out that low, the anchored VWAP. So I go ahead and get short. You see there's like a delay in my fills. That's kind of frustrating. So I'm short 2. It pops up a little bit. I add another 2. So now I'm short 4. And remember, I'm just trying to get about 3,000 for my Apex and another about 4. No, sorry. If I was up 3, then I need about 6,000 on roughly, I guess we'll call it 4,000 for Tradeify because of the because those are 150K accounts, and I need to get $9,000 in profit target, or in profits. Sorry, I'm all over the place this morning. All right, so you see prices starting to go lower. All right, so, and that was the trade. That's how I got it all filled right there, or all funded. So that was the trades there. That's all that happened, and you see I did it relatively soon in the morning. But today, I mean, it worked my first try. It doesn't always work the first time. It was nice that it did, but let's hope we don't have to do that again for a while. But I'll put this back up again. Okay, now it's letting me move it. Here is the Trade Ninja. You see, like I said, all above 9,000 and then above 7,000 here. But yeah, that's the trade. That is how I got funded again in one day. And those are 2 setups that I use to get funded again. The anchored VWAP break and these quick scalps to the upside when their price is extended. So those are basically my 2 trade setups I do. I'll play VWAPs, break a VWAP, a VWAP pullback or fades to, and then I'll either play a reversion to the mean when price gets extended, looking to play it back to the 21 EMA. But hope you found this helpful. Remember, use those coupon codes if you want to show me a little bit of love. And my link tree, remember, Tradeify is code ACT, and then Apex is some crazy letters. I'll go ahead and put them on the screen. But good luck to all of you that are taking this journey. So far, it's been a solid year. Let's keep it going. Have a good day, everyone, and see you in the next video.